All right, here is the somewhat finished wall hanging plant basket with my support beam. You probably wondered how I got the support beam. It's not rocket science. Took a board, put it on here like this. Just so you guys can see it. I put it on here like that. And I traced my lines like this. It's tough doing this backwards, guys. Hopefully this shows up because I can't. I'm doing this blind and backwards for my sake. Hopefully this shows up. You kind of see the angle right there, and then I cut that, and that's the piece I get for my support beam, and I glue that on. Now, we got to get to a point where we put our little hanging bracket on, okay? You got to know the distance between this hole and that hole, so you have to measure. You got to know your center from here to there. So you're going to need a ruler, tape measure, whatever you want to do. You're going to measure across here, whichever one you want to use. Remember I told you I cut mine originally 5 inches, so I ended up being short. Mine ended up being 4.5 inches instead of 5 inches. Your center, if you guys do yours right, should be at 2.5 inches. So since mine is at 4.5, it's going to be 2.25. So my center for my wall is right here. Okay. I would then find the distance that splits this in half from here to there. That will tell me where I put those two holes. Okay. Could you put it on here and eye it? You probably could. You could probably put it on there and eye the center. Or you could take your tape, your ruler, find out how long this is. This is, it's like 1 3/4 inches long. So this is 1 3/4 inches long. You could do a couple different things. You could say, okay, well, if it's 1 3/4 inches long, I put it on here center ways. Okay, then that means half of this would come over here. And I make that mark, the other half will go there. You can do your math with subtracting your fractions. It'll also tell you how much you need to take away from here to there and here to there to get it. Or again, guys, you can pretty much eye this. I put it on here, put it in center, mark your edges, mark your hole like I did there. Also look at it in reference to one of your lines of your wood so that you're hanging it straight, because you want to make sure that this is straight, because my line was not exactly, my hole mark probably wasn't as straight, as straight parallel as it should be. Okay, so here is what I did. Now this is where you're going to probably want to use this guy, because it's such a small piece. Again, hold it like this. See how I'm holding this piece here, twisting this, see how that's getting bigger? Okay. I'm going to probably take one of these itty bitty guys here. You're this guy, or probably smallest. That's their smallest. Might even go to second smallest, because I got to think about it. I got to put the diameter of the screw in reference here. I thought I brought over here. What I do with it? They're tiny, tiny screws, guys. So when you come to get them, which I think mine fell in between the table crack here. Here they are. You can see them right in front of my face. That's how tiny these screws are. Look how small these things are. They're itty bitty. You just want to make sure your diameter of your bit is not bigger than the diameter of the screw, or it doesn't do any good holding you in. That's pretty close, so I'll probably go back down to the smaller one. I'd rather the screw, when it goes in, expand the wood so I know it's holding in. Put it in there. See, it's not really sticking out all that far. I don't need it to go far down into this. This might be something where I got my knee rested be underneath my basket. Okay. I worry if you use the power drill on this, you will go through and come through your front side, and you're not going to be happy with yourself with that. So one thing about these, they do like to tend to get stuck, so I just kind of work them out a little bit. I'm hardly putting any in there, any depth to it, so now I'm ready to put the screw in. Maybe try it by hand first. You have Phillips screwdriver. It's got the star look, and then try it by hand. And probably resting it here on your knee. Taking this and putting it in there. Depending on what wood you have here, like I have the redwood's pretty soft, I can kind of make this work by pushing down and nice and slow, kind of putting that in there. Looks pretty straight in reference to my line. I'm using this line across the front of my guide to how straight this board is, or how straight the hanging bracket is. You gotta press down when you're doing this. Sorry about that, guys. We know how this works with the stand. And mine not working. Whatever you do, don't strip your heads. Back it back out. If we got to re-drill a little wider hole, we can do that, okay? But, and voila, there it goes now. You should hang it on the wall, and you put whatever you want in it, and if you want to finalize, do different things, paint it, put designs on it. If we have time, you know, we have the resource here, which I don't know how much we have as far as painting goes. You can do that, or take it home and do it. That is entirely up to you. Other than that, again, between this, your charcuterie board, and the mini little picnic table, which could be like a napkin holder or condiment holders, as far as, you know, like ketchup, mustard, depending upon what you guys put them in, salt and pepper, things like that. You could have possibly 3 homemade gifts that you guys made for parents as far as Christmas goes. I hope this helps.